across the sea of life, so much pain, warring divides. It's a shame we don't see how it can be.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome to the
Yfactor on 87.6 FM.
Oh, we need to smile at each other, wish for your brother, help one another. All we need is love.
This is the Yfactor. Jamel has a message to all the Muslims in the world.
Eid Mubarak, my homies and homieses.
That's right, Eid Mubarak, on the year of 1432 of the Islamic calendar of 2011.
That's
Eid
right.
al-Adha Mubarak to all our Muslims out there in Australia and abroad.
Hoping you had got lots of prezzies and kisses and hugs from all the fam.
Yeah, one thing I just don't like about Eid is I stopped getting presents.
Once you start to get to that age where you're meant to be working.
Yes, working.
You know?
But one of my aunties, I recall telling me, she gave me a present when I started working. I said, I humbly refuse. But she's like, no, I'm going to give you to the day you get married. And then the year later, she just stopped giving me.
And you said that public on air. You shouldn't have said that publicly.
Yeah, I know. If you're listening, auntie, I'm not very happy.
He's
not
hurt.
happy.
He's
not
hurt.
happy, Chan.
But that's totally serious. I mean, Eid really should be, the two Eids each year should be the biggest celebrations for us, because we don't celebrate birthdays, we don't celebrate anything else.
That's right. And I think as young Muslims, we need to honestly take off work, take off whatever it is, uni, just get into the Eid spirit, because if you lose it, I can't imagine our kids and their kids and their kids. We need to maintain that spirit.
Exactly, celebrate it properly. I mean, give each other gifts. The Prophet _Wasallam said you should give gifts to each other in order to increase the love between each other, and that's not just inside of Eid, which should be the best time to give gifts, but outside as well.
So there you have it. First, do not lose the Eid spirit. Give gifts, as Jamel is saying, and we expect gifts at 200 and something Howden Street, Lakemba.
That's right. And age shouldn't be a restriction to getting gifts, and be the initiator. Give gifts to your parents, give gifts to your aunties and uncles, and inshallah you'll get gifts in return.
Inshallah.
No hidden motive.
Not at all.
This week, Mohammed, we got some crazy grass news. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, we're going to run through the news, and we have two very special guests. We've got a boxer.
World champion boxer, isn't he?
That's right. I think his title was the WBF World Middleweight Champion of the world. I said world twice, but he's, champion of the...
Yeah, of the world. And he's fought against people like Shane Mosley.
It's a huge fight in Las Vegas. We have him... That's Shannan Taylor. He's going to come up very soon.
Very awesome guy.
So stay tuned for that. We've also got Belal Taha from MyLegacy Publications talking about young Muslim creative talent and trying to, publish your work. So
awesome. Any
creative Muslims out there, stay tuned. That is coming up shortly. But for now,
we are going to go straight on to what happened on Eid al-Adha with 1,300 Qataris hospitalized for overeating. Now, that's pretty embarrassing, I must say. Meanwhile, in Somalia,
yeah, I don't understand the logic. I mean, if this was meant to happen on any Eid, it should have been Eid al-Fitr. You're fasting for an entire month, and then, okay, I understand if you're going to indulge into sweets.
Have a big feast at the end. But still, even so, we should really be grateful for every morsel of food that we have, and really think and contemplate about those who have no food every day. And that equates to, you have one person dying, one child actually, not equating for teenagers or adults. One child dies every 3.6 seconds from starvation. So take that, you Qataris who overate your asses to the hospital.
And we're not joking, this is actually a real story. 1,300 Qataris were hospitalized for overeating on Eid al-Adha.
It would have gone to the wacky news, but this is a serious story, and it's a serious issue when you go to some iftars and stuff, and some brothers are like packing on their plates, they don't finish half of it. Think about your poor brothers who are in the line behind you. They're the immediate ones, and then the ones who also are starving overseas,
It's funny, it says the number of cases, out of those, a significant number of those people, out of the 1,300 people who were hospitalized, said they had heart problems, and they had increased, and they complained of chest pain, but none have died thus far.
No, you actually had one guy die.
Yeah?
Yeah, one of the patients died.
Did you choke on a ma'mool or something?
I have no idea. Just too much food, man.
But inshallah.
Eat yourself to death. How embarrassing. What a sad way to die.
Absolutely.
The Yfactor.
Well,
Jamel, that was a little bit insensitive.
well, yeah, I say it how it is.
Khair, inshallah. Anyway, on to another Eid story. As we know, there are many Muslims in Guantanamo Bay. So 200 men in Guantanamo Bay have celebrated their 10th Eid in the US prison, as they're still yet to be, trialed, although they're still detained.
That's right. I mean, some stories I was reading up about Brother Habib, who was in Guantanamo for quite some time, and now he's back in Australia. He's with his family. I actually met him in person. Very nice guy, very nice family. And he was put into jail without trial, without anything. And, it took... I can't remember how many years he was actually in there till he was released.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at their logic, and I quote, it says, these men are held, and I quote, indefinite detention without trial. And it's basically a category previously unknown under US law. It was adopted by the Obama administration when he was elected, Jamel. But yeah, and even though we've heard many times, we announced a few months back, on the Yfactor that Obama was going to close down Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
But how many more Eids do these Muslims have to go through with, stay ma'mool and not seeing their families? But
the thing is, it's fair enough that you do have some people in there who deserve to be in there, some proper nut jobs, but there's also a lot of people who go in there without trial, just on hearsay. They may have said something but not really had any motive behind it, whatever. But the hidden agenda that we don't know about, there's a lot of cloud around a lot of things that happen around the world and around Western foreign policy that the public are just blind to.
The Yfactor.
I cannot stand Benjamin Netanyahu anymore. He's a liar.
You may be sick of him, but me, I have to deal with him every day.
Sacre bleu, the mics are left on.
Oh my goodness gracious me, the world will find out about our secret.
So what's quite funny, the latest article is Netanyahu has been called a liar by his
counterparts.
His mates from the US and France, the President Sarkozy and President Obama, talking behind his back about basically how they're still supporting Israel, they're still with Israel, and you could safely say that it's because of the power that Israel has. They have a very strong sway in the media, in politics, which France and America probably wouldn't be able to do the things they want to do without them.
That's right, and the little impersonation me and Jamal just did was an actual real exchange between President Obama and President Sarkozy
That's
at
what
the
they said.
G20 summit. Yeah. Now the remarks they were speaking about was during a private convo, and it was overheard by a few journalists who initially reported it on a French website. And now it's went viral all over the news, online and TV news. So you might want to watch what you say and make sure your mics still aren't on, or make sure you cannot be heard by a journalist, because they'll pounce on that. But yeah, it says a lot about how they feel about the Israeli PM.
I'd say so. I mean, the exterior actions and so forth don't really reflect how they feel inside. So I feel it's almost as if Obama and Sarkozy and other governments are being played by the powerful Israeli government and the Jewish lobby and so forth, because I guess things like settlements being built in Palestine, or the violence that happens in Palestine, or the sort of cocky nature of the Israelis and how they just take what they want and there's no repercussions or anything like that, no justice. And the US just backs them each time. It's quite disgusting.
And I think from a geopolitical point of view, I think the remarks probably indicate a breakdown of trust, between the American and French presidents and the Israeli leader. And I think this could have wider implications for the Middle East peace process. But we'll see how things turn out.
But they still keep going ahead with their support of each other, even if what goes on behind closed doors doesn't necessarily reflect what they do in the public eye.
The Yfactor.
Now, on to some other news. A Canadian and Irish boats, similar to the flotilla, were intercepted by the Israeli military off the coast of Gaza. And there were some violent exchanges that proceeded, wasn't there, Jamal?
Yep, everyone was detained on board, including Michael Coleman, an Australian citizen.
And yeah, it was said that there was a journalist on there called Jihan Hafiz, who was actually on board the boat called the Tahrir when it was intercepted by the Israeli military. And she actually revealed that the Australian delegate, Michael Coleman, was subjected to extreme violence.
That's right. They said they dragged him to the other side of the boat. They had guns to his back as well as to his head, and they frisked him. It really doesn't surprise me, knowing knowing the general nature of the Israeli army.
And it's funny how the Australian government has yet to take action to secure, an immediate or an unconditional release of Michael Coleman. Both the PM, Julia Gillard, and the Foreign Minister, Kevin Rudd, have remained silent on the matter and haven't made any public announcements about it. So
apparently they had their guns trained on him, their lasers trained on him, threatening to shoot him. And in effect, this guy's just a protester trying to stand up for the rights of the Palestinians.
Yeah, so we call upon the Australian government to please call for the immediate release of Michael Coleman.
Pull your socks up and be just, will you?
Yeah, grow some, courageous audacity.
And cojones.
I was going to say that, but I sort of backed off. But you did anyway. You get the point. Make a decision and get speaking, you government.
The Yfactor.
The feta cheese has gone sour.
That's right. The Greek economy is on the verge of bankruptcy. And as we all know, Greece faces bankruptcy and an exit from the euro. There's been many talks for a new Greek government to take over, and the outgoing Prime Minister, George Papandreou. And I've seen this guy on TV. I don't know how he's survived all these elections. He seems pretty cool, calm and collected when his country's on the verge of bankruptcy and people are rioting and looting on the streets. But he's expected to make a call during his farewell address to the nation that it will pledge the new government would respect the terms of the EU bailout. So,
does that mean they're going to pay their debts over time, or?
Well, they need measures for their bailout. It's going to cost them $178 billion.
Whoa!
Which is a hell of a lot of money.
Actually, that debt's not as big as the American debt.
Yeah, definitely.
America has a debt worth trillions of dollars.
I think.
Most of
Greeks,
China.
If you look at the Greek economic scale, it's probably a lot for their country.
Yep.
Obviously, in terms of figures, America's got a higher debt crisis than Greece does. But
you know what this means?
Actually,
It means more holidays to the Greek islands for a cheaper price.
Is that what you're thinking of? The economy's about to crash, the world's in chaos, and you're thinking about your selfish ambitions,
more
Jamel.
Bang for my buck.
Oh, my goodness.
The Yfactor.
Whilst abroad we have many children who are starving due to a lack of food, in Australia, where there is an abundance of food, we actually have child anorexia on the rise.
That's right. Doctors at Westmead Children's Hospital in New South Wales have told the ABC that child admissions for eating disorders, in particular anorexia, Jamel, have tripled in the past decade. So that means children as young as 8 are being admitted, some of those whose lives are seriously at risk, which is, this is a very... very frightening statistic.
You know what I think it stems from? I think it stems from the television programs and all this marketing that's sort of emphasizing skinny bodies and things like that, where, for example, there was a study in a third world country where before the introduction of television, the women there used to be quite plump and things like that, and the general populace they were okay with that, they were happy with having a bit of chubbiness. And then as soon as televisions were added in and they started seeing all these skinny women, they dramatically dropped in weight. And I guess living in Australia where the kids are sort of exposed to all this sort of slimness from a young age, and their parents actually may be influencing that as well.
Well, Susan Towns, who's the hospital's adolescent medicine department, she's in that department, she actually seconds what you say, Jamel. She suspects the media is to blame.
Yeah.
And she says what constitutes a good body shape is cemented at a young age through media and entertainment forms. So it's very clear I think they're getting these conflicting messages via these entertainment means and have this this ideal image in their mind, this mental image that they have to be sleek, thin and have no meat on them whatsoever.
Well, the sad thing is that a lot of these kids are really like beautiful little kids, right? When I was studying psychology, our tutor she's a psychologist herself, and she was saying she was looking after all these kids who had anorexic problems, and she was saying, this girl is really beautiful, but she couldn't see that. She just saw fatness, and she was already slim, she was heading towards death if she didn't change, if she didn't start eating. And we watched this program about all these anorexic girls in the hospital, and it was just shocking, man. They're all, they're not ugly, they're not fat or anything like that. They're all far underweight, and it's just a really sad thing to see.
I think this stands as a testimony that we need to do an episode about what constitutes beauty.
Exactly.
Maybe get a psychologist to come in and talk about the different...
I'm all for inner beauty being the most beautiful thing. I mean, you can have a good-looking person with an ugly personality, and they would by far be much uglier to me than someone who's wouldn't be considered that great looking, but they've got a good personality.
And I know this is ridiculous, and obviously we're not supporting this, but if you look at someone like Kim Kardashian, who is renowned around the world for being obviously beautiful, her and her sisters, she's got a lot of curves on her. So I know it sounds ridiculous what I'm saying, but that's a good example of how you can still be beautiful and have a decent amount of weight on you. You don't have to be anorexic to feel beautiful.
But at the same time, that also goes back what I was saying. Like, she may be good looking, but she's got a ugly,
that's a whole other
ugly
topic,
personality. You know.
Now our Facebook page is going to go off with comments. So just
pro and anti Kim Kardashian people.
Possibly.
I could never marry someone like that.
I agree. All I'm saying is when I see her, I just think that's better than an anorexic role model out there for young females, even though our role model should be Khadija and Aisha and these amazing women in history. But I guess these people, you know, they occupy and they dominate most entertainment means. So
the best role models are not those who are good looking or, you know, who are actors and things like that, but those who actually achieve great feats to help other people. So I mean, Angelina Jolie, I actually am a big fan of because of her work overseas.
Her charity work, right?
Yeah, like she's a great actress and all that sort of stuff, and she's good looking, but her work is what really sets her apart from anyone else, because she could live a life of luxury, not care about the world, but she actually goes out there and spends her money to do something, proactive.
The Yfactor.
On to some other news, and just to follow up from our Occupy Sydney segment a few weeks back, police have conducted a raid in the inner city and actually prevented, media film crews that were there by shining lights into the cameras from actually seeing what was going on during the operation. 5 people were arrested for barricading themselves inside a building.
Wow.
And they had a big Occupy Sydney protest banner. There were about 40 other protesters who were outside the building. Those 5 protesters were taken to Surrey Hills Police Station, and the other 40 followed.
Damn.
Yeah, the police there, clearly, you know, very angry and very frustrated of
what
what
were they
happened.
chanting? OCCUPI. What does that spell?
Occupy. Yeah, we thought that was a bit lame, but I think they got their point across. But
That's right. I was saying, what could does protest get us? You need riots, damn it. Riots is where things happen.
Jamel, we're a civilized program in a developed nation. Okay, riots is not something we propagate openly on our show. So do you want to...
No, of course we don't propagate riots.
Of course.
Awkward silence.
Indeed.
Going on to the next story, you got bookshops are now things like places like Dimmicks and so forth are going from the physical, you know, buying a book itself to going onto the cloud. The cloud is the internet space, you could say. So now you can purchase a book online, you can check it out on your iPad, iPhone, whatever it is, your notepad that you have. So you can start reading books online. But, you know, I actually prefer the feel of the traditional reading a paperback book. You know, it's in my hands and I can just take it around anywhere. It really hurts my eyes when I'm reading it off, say, the computer screen or something like that. It's not the same.
Absolutely, and I'm like you, Jamel. I'm very old school. I'd love to read an old hard copy book.
Something about it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something about that tangible thing you can hold and say, you know, I've read this book instead of, you know, I've read an online.
Yeah, a
book.
few kilobytes or megabytes.
But I think it opens up the whole dichotomy between online v hard copy. And we're chatting before the show even about DVDs. I mean, to our viewers out there, in all honesty, ask yourself, when was the last time you went to a DVD store to rent out a film?
Yeah. Most people just go pirating movies.
Exactly. And we're not condoning that at all, right, Jamel? We're not condoning pirating films.
Do not watch pirated movies.
That was very convincing. But nonetheless, I mean, everything's going online, literally everything. I'm studying journalism, and we were told at university that within the next 20 to 30 years, newspapers will die. Like, everything is going online. It's amazing. And I just think all these people are going to become redundant. All these stores, the DVD stores, the bookstores, they're going to become redundant and lose their place in society.
That's the technology age, man. That's the way that society is developing. I mean, you look.
So should we embrace it or riot?
Well, you know what? I think there's always going to be a place for paperback books, unless it maybe dies out, because you know how things always change. Like our parents may not. They had to get used to computers coming in. You know, I remember my mum was sort of struggling to even get used to it, and now she's on it all the time. But you know, society is changing, man. Maybe people will become like the younger generations will be bored of paperback books and say, you know, all these old people reading it.
Well, what do you think, listeners? If you think we should stick to our old school traditions and read hard copy books, let us know on Facebook. If you want to embrace the online digital world, at the click of a button, you can do so. Even though it's a bit. It's a bit biased that we're telling you to jump online to vote for online via hard copy, but that's the only way you can do it.
Well, there's a place for both, I think. But talking about piracy, Mohamed, you're a filmmaker yourself. Like, I mean, you can't have people pirating your movies. You wouldn't make any money, right? So I guess in all seriousness, you know, it's better off at least borrowing a DVD if you want to watch something, especially if it's an Islamic publication. You know, if you're pirating that, if it's not free to air and you need to buy a copy, you know, so that you can help make more movies and things like that.
That's our take-home message, guys.
But the times where it's okay to watch pirated movies is when it's a really shitty movie, where completely B grade, not worth the price of a ticket.
Not worth watching in the cinemas.
Yeah, as we seem to get in the cinemas a lot these days.
But our take-home message is be ethical and avoid pirated films.
Yeah, unless they're really crappy.
Yeah. But aside from that, be ethical and don't do that.
The Yfactor.
On to the wacky news with Jamel Rathborn.
Yep, going on to the best part of the show.
The best part of the show. Continue.
A zoo has split up a same-sex relationship between two African penguins at a Canadian zoo. Wow. So they've been broken up.
Can animals even be distinguished as
homosexual?
Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe there was a lack of females and they just got bored, you know. Got a bit broke-back icicle.
Broke-back iceberg.
Yeah. A couple of parents in the US named their child Adolf Hitler, and after a legal battle have now actually, they're not going to be allowed custody of their three kids.
I'll give them the freedom to. I want to name my son Osama, Jamel. What is the Australian
Bin Laden or...
No, Osama bin Jej.
The next story is the guy in Russia. This guy is Russian. He is a genius, a respected historian and journalist who speaks 13 languages, right? So he's a smart guy, but he also dresses corpses up into clothing, right? And that's pretty funky stuff. On other news,
that's very humble of him.
On other news, a guy proposed to his missus on the train ride home with a whole bunch of people who were actually serenaded the couple. So they started singing. So it was all planned. The guy planned the whole thing to propose on the train, which is pretty fun.
Romantic.
Yeah. On top of that, there's this guy who's got quite big happy sacks, and he's been taking photos of bears up close and personal. Another couple students in a school was actually suspended for hugging because the school had a zero no hugging policy.
Was it an Islamic school?
I think it was a Christian school, actually. Yeah, hold on a second.
Was it male, female, or male?
So it was in Palm Bay Southwest Middle School in the US in Orlando between a guy and a girl. So he was just hugging his best friend. So they got suspended for that. Another hilarious story I found was a museum cleaner who mistook paint on a sculpture for an unsightly mess has destroyed the valuable artwork beyond recognition.
Oh, talk about poor choice of judgment.
Yeah, don't think he'll have his job anymore. All right, the last two stories is the Dalai Lama says youngsters who celebrate their birthday on the 11th of the 11th of the 11th could be the Dalai Lama for corduroy fanboys. The last story is this guy struck gold on a popular British TV game show, and then he dumped his fiancée, giving her just £60 for a cab fare home.
Talk about a wise guy.
Yeah, how's that for love, right? Honey, I'm rich now. Get out.
Here's $60. Get out of my face.
The Yfactor.
Do you seriously have to mention all those wacky stories on there?
It's my favourite part of the show.
Yeah, but your favourite part of the show isn't everyone else's favourite part of the show.
I'm pretty sure our listeners love the wacky news.
Listen, Jamel, don't... Oh, I think the mics are on. Assalamualaikum everyone, welcome back. I think we did an Obama and Sarkozy on Jamel, but he was actually involved. But yeah, sorry about that.
This is Omar Regan, and you're listening to Yfactor.
The Yfactor, an amazing radio station. If you're not listening to the Yfactor, you're probably not doing much.
I think the likes of Alan Jones and Ray Hadley are sort of keeping a close eye on you guys.
This is the segment to listen to. There's nothing better than this. It beats anything else.
Yeah, man, if you don't listen to the Yfactor, you are a bloody fool.
Yfactor Radio, the best radio station in Australia.
All right, everyone, it's random spotlight time. As you know, I'm going to make a random phone call on my phone, and whoever answers has to go live on radio. So here we go. How are you, Mr. Ali Faraj?
Talk to me.
You're live on the Yfactor radio program. It's random spotlight time. We thought we'd give you a call and see how you are.
Oh, I'm actually going well, mate. Fantastic to be on the program.
Yeah,
Program going today.
Yeah, not too bad. And yeah, you're quite the avid AFL fan and very active in AFL. Can you tell us a bit about what you do?
Yeah, well, my position is really engaging cold and Indigenous communities and really giving them opportunities to access sport. We see our sport as part of Australian culture. We give opportunities for experience something new. You know, the default sport for kids who usually come from overseas is soccer. So AFL really gives them a challenge, and that putting that sharing in their hand really makes them feel a part of Australian culture.
Awesome. And you're also part of a local footy club, AFL Footy Club.
Yeah, what do you call that? Footy club, more social club at the moment. We are trying to get a bit more serious. Today we've got an AGM. Hopefully we can knock over a few more volunteers, which will highlight the importance of actually preparing quality clubs for quality kids.
Fantastic. And as you know, sport's very important from an Islamic perspective, keeping fit and making sure the stomach doesn't protrude more than the chest. So we commend you on your work, Mr. Faraj.
I'm actually suffering from that disease at the moment with the stomach, you know, being a bit bigger than the chest.
Are you sure you want to reveal that on air?
Yeah, you can put that on there. I've actually joined the Honors Athletics, working hard at the moment, training every day.
Fantastic.
Trying to reach optimum fitness.
Fantastic. Any final message you'd like to give to our listeners out there?
Fear Allah.
Fantastic. Wise words indeed, Mr. Faraj. You handled yourself pretty well on the random spotlight phone call, so we thank you for your time, and we're glad to have you on the Yfactor.
No problem. Thank you again.
The Yfactor.
Radio, going on to the break right now. We have some awesome interviews coming up with Belal Taha from Legacy.
MyLegacy Publications.
MyLegacy Publications and our world champion, the Bulleye Blaster. Coming up next. Stay tuned.
Don't go anywhere.
If you're a young female Muslim looking for a private hairdresser, then look no further. Ladies Only Hair and Beauty Lounge Room is a private female-friendly salon with locations in Auburn and Bankstown. Ladies Only provide hair services including colours, extensions, style cuts, keratin, waxing, IPL hair removal, bridal makeup and hair, including much more. Strictly no men allowed, and there's also video intercom upon entry for your peace of mind. Exclusive offer for all Yfactor listeners. Ladies Only is offering 20% off all services until mid-December 2011. This offer is exclusive to the Auburn store only. For general inquiries, contact 1300 452 399, and for the exclusive Yfactor offer, contact Rima on 9643 5719.
Social expectation drowns us all inside. What you have should be what I want, 'cause what I have just ain't alright. The clothes I wear, the way I comb my hair, how I live, oh I don't care. This is who I am, this is me. Nothing, everything, can't you see who I am? Just let me be, 'cause like it or not, but God loves me.
The Yfactor.
You're listening to the Yfactor on 87.6 FM. With us now we have Belal Taha, who has just launched a fantastic initiative called MyLegacy Publications. Assalamu alaikum, Belal, and welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me here, and greetings to all the listeners out there.
It's our pleasure, wallah. So tell us about MyLegacy Publications.
Well, MyLegacy Publications is a publishing company that aims to promote the talent of creative writers out there in our community. And basically, we want to provide an avenue for all the amazing brothers out there that Collins Publishing or Penguin Publishing will not give them the chance to.
This is open to brothers and sisters, right?
Brothers and sisters. If they have an amazing idea for a story and they let them put pen to paper, submit it to us and we'll acknowledge that story, inshallah.
Inshallah. Tell us about how the idea came about.
Well, basically, I've been teaching for 10 years. During that time, I wrote some books myself. And once the book was finalized, I wanted to publish it. And I looked at our community and I found no publishers available.
SubhanAllah.
So I took it upon myself to publish my own books. And then I thought, SubhanAllah, Allah opened up the path for me, and I decided, this could be something I can do full time. And one thing led to another. I made a few contacts, and inshallah now I've made it available to the whole community.
So something that, personally affected you, you've taken upon yourself to, and obviously because this is affecting a lot of other Muslims in the community, they have all this creative talent, but there's no publisher to go to.
Absolutely. Well, see, that's one point of it. The other point is that the youth of our community we haven't provided an alternative for them. So I remember a story once. My cousin, we're at school where we're told, read this novel. And at the end of the novel, we do an assessment on that novel. The story in that novel was of a girl eloping with a guy. And guess what her assignment was? The assignment question was, put yourself in that girl's shoes. How would you elope with that guy?
Wow.
So our kids are reading these stories. They're reading, well, no offense to the Twilight lovers out there. They're reading.
Hey, I enjoy Twilight. Yeah, Jacob's got a good body on him.
Yeah, no, I can't dispute that. However, some parents don't want that. So there's no alternative out there. So I thought, what a great idea to provide an alternative for those parents and youth. And, inshallah, I can read some good stories, bit of fun.
So what sort of genres are you targeting, Belal?
Well, at the moment now, I want to focus on teen issues, novels and short stories. The genres are all genres. So science fiction, not horror, so we're not friends, but science fiction, drama.
How about the popular romance for the sisters?
Stay away from romance, Mills and Boone, we don't like that here. But all the genres.
The Yfactor.
And is this, are you inclusive of non-Muslims? If a non-Muslim, wants to contribute, what's the policy then?
Absolutely. We don't discriminate on a person based on any of those categories of age, sex, even religious background. No, we don't discriminate. So we're open to all you non-Muslims out there.
There is a bit of a limit, though, to what they can, right?
Absolutely. We can't, you can't have a non-Muslim talking about, pornography or going on the...
Or the wonders of alcohol.
Or having a good night out at the pub, a Maley's pub or something. No, we can't have that.
Alhamdulillah. So essentially, for a non-Muslim, it'll be, to us it's Islamic content, but for them something a bit more ethical or moral. Not saying that they're not, but staying away from those, controversial Islamic issues like alcohol, going out, adultery and that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. Well, it's basically have a good story that's morally okay. So a good example is in movies, Jackie Chan. A lot of people love his movies. Why? There's no, kissing, there's no sexual romance, there's no swearing, but everyone loves his movies.
He's kicking butt though in every movie.
Oh, he's cracking them. Those moves. I'm only 30 and I can't do those moves. The guy's 50 something. However, it is. I want that type of thing where it's a fun story. However, it's a good moral story as well.
The Yfactor.
Do you think there's a big void in our community, Belal? I mean, you're 30 years old. You've seen a fair bit, and you're very active in the community. Do you think this is long overdue?
Absolutely. It's never been done before in our community. And the problem is that what we read is being dictated by others. why don't we dictate what we read and what others read about us? It's very problematic. For example, you go to Collins Bookshop or Penguin or Angus Robertson, and the stories about Islam are, you see a girl with a niqab on and it says oppressed. They're the things that are talked about. Well, our community, we're discussing those terms. So, and we haven't actually went on the front foot and tried to do something about it. Well, now we have, inshallah. So.
Alhamdulillah. So we've reversed the power. We've given the power back into our hands.
Absolutely. Well, it's a long process, but inshallah it's begun now, and inshallah we'll aim to do that in the next decade, inshallah.
Inshallah.
The Yfactor.
And let's say hypothetically, if a sister out there, Fatima, has a fantastic idea, writes up this great short story, it's 2 pages. What does she do from there? Does she send it to you? Then what happens from there?
Well, we've got a link on our website. So it's all the information is on the website.
Fantastic.
Fatma or anyone else can go to our website, and there's a link on there. There's a submissions page. So she follows the instructions on that page, and we'll have our team have a look at that story. And if we're happy with it, we'll actually put it as part of an anthology. So a series of short stories. And she won't have her own book initially, but she'll be a part of so there could be maybe 10 stories within that short series book. And we can publish it as part of it.
Will they be theme-based as well?
Yes, they would. We want to, inshallah, very soon, within the next month, we're going to start off the first theme, and it will be on marriage. So, so
you definitely picked a hot topic, Belal.
Absolutely. So a lot of the writers, they just write stories, amazing stories. Be very creative.
And original as well.
Jump out of the box, Don't follow the script like everyone else. Write a story about marriage, and inshallah we'll have our team look at that story, and if it's approved, then inshallah we'll put that as part of the published book, inshallah.
And Belal, that leads me to my next question. What do you look for from your experience in a good short story?
Well, the most important thing is fun. It's got to be a good read. Now, obviously, it's going to include the basics of a story, such as similes, metaphors. It follows a structure of a normal story. However, what I really want is for the readers to, after reading it, say, that was a good story.
I know exactly what you mean, Belal. I mean, I'm an avid book reader myself, and I crave for a book once I finish it just to put it down and go, wow, this book took me to another world, or this book really broadened my horizon, and I want to read it again. So I see exactly where you're coming from.
That's what I'm after, inshallah.
The Yfactor.
Now that was very important because we have an exclusive offer for our Yfactor listeners. Belal, tell us all about the offer.
Yes, what we've decided is the best 10 stories submitted. We've got a new series on adab, and a publication will be out very soon on adab. So the best 10 stories will get a signed copy of the adab book from MyLegacy Publications.
Fantastic. And there's a few conditions though, Mahak Belal. They need to go to the MyLegacy Publications fan page, and MyLegacy is spelled MyLegacy. It's one word, Publications, and they have to like the fan page. And then they have to go, obviously, to submit the story, you go to mylegacypublications.com.au. There's a link on the MyLegacy fan page on Facebook. Go to the submission section and submit the short story. And the conditions are, it has to be a minimum of 2 pages and a maximum of 5 pages. And then Belal and the team will assess all the short stories and pick the top 10 stories and determine the winners, inshallah. And the winners will receive a copy of the fantastic adab book that's coming out. So that's an exclusive offer for our Yfactor listeners, not to be missed, Mahak Belal.
Absolutely. And we also have to look after our Yfactor listeners. We're very valued.
Jazakallahu khairan. What are your plans for the future? Just finally, where do you see this going in the near future, inshallah?
Well, we're going to start off, inshallah, with short stories. So it's a good way for the community to get a feel of it, and for writers to start getting back into the groove of writing. But inshallah, we want to get into novels. So people would be able to have their novels published. We also want to get into comics. So that's very interesting.
Tell us about that idea, comics. That sounds very interesting. I'm thinking superheroes.
Well, I actually went on a business trip to Malaysia and India, and I came back about 2 weeks ago. And we had a lot of business meetings, inshallah. And there's a lot of very creative brothers in those countries that are very excited about our initiatives at MyLegacy. So we've actually got one person there's a new movie on Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi.
Wow.
It's a comic movie. It's an animated movie, and the art director of that movie is on board with MyLegacy Publications.
Wow.
Yeah, he's very, very excited, and he said, I'm ready to work with you guys on all your initiatives, inshallah. So
some big names involved, alhamdulillah.
Yes, absolutely. Inshallah.
I can't wait to see that. The future sounds very bright, inshallah. So just to repeat, before you go, Belal, the offer is, inshallah, we might extend it to maybe mid-December, because we know a lot of university students have exams. It's examination period now, so everyone's studying. But inshallah, you'll have about, obviously, most exams finish towards the end of November. So mid-December, maybe the deadline for them to submit the stories, inshallah, if that's fine with you, Belal.
That's fine with me.
Fantastic. So just to repeat, go to mylegacypublications.com.au, submit your story. It has to be minimum of 2 pages, maximum of 5 pages. Belal and the team will assess them, and you have to go to the fan page, MyLegacy Publications, MyLegacy is one word, and like the fan page. Jazakallahu khairan for your time today, brother Belal from the MyLegacy team.
No, Jazakallahu khairan to you, Mohammed, and your team. I appreciate you having me on this on this actual radio show, and I love what you do. May Allah reward you guys, and inshallah you keep on doing what you're doing, inshallah.
Ameen, inshallah. I appreciate your kind words, Wallah. We're all working for the same cause, inshallah.
Thank you, inshallah. Inshallah we'll keep on working together in the future, inshallah.
Ameen, inshallah. Once again, Jazakallahu khairan, Belal.
Wa alaikum, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, man. This is Omar Regan, a.k.a. Chris. Listen to the Yfactor. Peace out, man. Turn it up. Hurry up, man. We got news. Assalamu alaikum.
What a great initiative. And just a reminder to all our HSC students, if you've written a creative piece or short story for one of your exams, don't throw it away, because you can submit it, and go in the running to have your actual short story published. Go to mylegacypublications.com to submit it. So don't throw away your short stories or creative stories, even if it's around the theme of belonging. Submit it to the MyLegacy team, and hopefully they'll take care of it from there. And don't forget to visit the MyLegacy Facebook page. MyLegacy is one word, Publications, and like the actual page, inshallah, to help this brother and this great cause.
He said, she said, they all did what's expected of them all. To get to the top don't matter if somebody's gotta fall. You gotta brace the storm, the norms to conform. Get what you want's gonna kill us all. This is who I am, this is me. Nothing, everything, can't you see? Who I am, just let me be. Cause like it or not, but God loves me.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Shannan, we're meant to do that. Hold on.
Yeah, hang on a sec.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, weighing in at 72.5 kilos, standing at 179 centimeters, with 64 professional fights under his belt, 3 WBF World titles, 7 IBF regional titles, 31 knockouts, the current WBF World Middleweight Champion, Shannan the Bulleye Blaster Taylor. I can keep going if you want. World champion is
Jamel, stop. We get the point.
Welcome, thank you.
How are you, Shannan?
What a good welcome that was.
Welcome to the Yfactor. We're honoured to have you on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
You've been, I guess, a real staple in Australian boxing. 30 years, you said you've been boxing for.
Yeah, I walked into Belal PCYC when I was 9.5 years of age.
Wow.
Had my first fight at the age of 10, about 7 months later.
Is that where one of your knockouts came from, or did you not start counting those till you got into the professional ring?
I had a lot of knockouts as an amateur, but I remember my first spar. I was 9.5 and I was sparring a 12.5-year-old, and he was the bully at Below High School. And I didn't know he was a bully, but I ended up giving him a bit of a touch-up, and then the trainer said, "Oh, do you want to fight? So he babied me until I got to the age of 10. And then I got to high school after at the age of 12, and that guy was in about year
Year 9 or so,
Year
yeah.
10, year 11,
Yeah.
and he was like the bully, and I went, oh no. No. So, yeah, he was my first spar ever.
Yeah, and the nickname Bulleye Blaster, how'd you get it?
Well, I grew up in the Illawarra, in a town called Bulli, and I won my first Australian title at the age of 15.
Wow.
And
is that a record? Is that generally young for a world title?
Australian title? No, some guys have won them, like at the age of 10 and 12.
Wow.
But the Illawarra Mercury, I read the story, Shannan Taylor, the Bulleye Blast, and it just stuck.
Isn't Bulli where the ice cream comes from? Something?
The yogurt?
Come from the land of
yogurt.
No, the dairy farm. It used to be.
Dairy farmers, yeah. That'd be a good sponsor for you.
Yeah,
Shannan.
exactly.
You want to get one of the managers to check it up. So how about your recent fight? I mean, you won 2 titles in one fight. How was that fight?
Yeah, last month in October, I won the WBF World Middleweight title, which was my 3rd WBF World title. I've won 2 at middleweight, and I won at 2004. I won the super middleweight world title, but guys are too big up there for me. I train hard now, and I can get the weight off, and I'm eating right, doing everything correct, sleep train. That's what I'm doing, so I can make middleweight quite easy.
So you're quite hard on yourself, I guess. And I think you mentioned before the show that you actually don't drink, you don't gamble as well. You're quite strict about those sorts of things.
Yeah, recent times I've really tightened up my living and trying to live as cleanly as I can, and I guess being a world champion, I guess that's my reward. Yeah. I'm rewarded with being a world champion again because I've had a few wild ways. Over 10 or 12 years ago, back when I was 29, got off track for a year. But you know what? I think the Lord's here to test us, and I've come through it, and I'm a world champion again. So,
it's good to hear.
It's just proof out there. Like there's a lot of kids that get off track, but I also needed someone to grab their hand, just get a little bit of love. And there's a lot of kids out there, and I'm working with the kids in the youth centres at the moment.
Awesome.
And I work at Reby early this year. And I'm just sitting with the kids and asking a couple of them. One was about 13 years of age, been in there 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
I said, what are you doing in here, mate? He reckons, mum and dad, they run drugs all the time, and it's better in here than my home life. And I found that very, very sad to hear. It really broke my heart. And
the Yfactor.
Basically, now I'm donating my free time to the youth centres in Wollongong.
Awesome.
I'm
Good
doing
on you.
Twilight tournaments on a Saturday night from 7 to 11:30. Just donating, no money involved, just helping the kids. We had 41 kids off the street last week.
Wow.
It's just, I believe every kid's got something special in their lives, something in their heart. They're just, a lot of kids, like you said, that kid said his mother and dad don't give him any time, and he finds 3 meals a day here in jail.
Wow.
And I told him, so when you get out, come and find my gym, mate, and I'll help you out, Just, kids just need direction in life, that's what I think.
Need a helping hand, I
Everyone's got
guess.
something good in them, but, it's sad that they don't get that love and attention.
Yeah.
And every kid wants love and attention.
Yeah, of course. They need it. They need it in order to survive.
They do. And then that's why they get on the wrong track. But, I've been off track. I was an athlete for... I never took a drug until I was 29 years of age after the Mosley fight and stuff like that. I had a lot of money and living good and just in the wrong crowd. And, I got off track. But, I'm back on track now. And
Alhamdulillah, it's good to
my
hear.
life proves that, if you do get off track, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
All you got to do is just get out there and it's up to yourself to get back on track, and with a bit of love from somebody to help you.
Give another try. I guess positive thinking and moving forward as well. You always got to keep moving forward.
Shannan Taylor, the Bulleye Blast, has got a motto, and if you get knocked down, you just get it back up.
That's right.
You know what?
So
You
I
get knocked
like
back
it.
down again, just get up and go 2 more stairs higher.
I guess you could tell us a little bit about that, as with the story before the show where you got knocked out and you didn't even realise it.
Oh, yeah, when I fought Shane Mosley, I'd like to thank Johnny Lewis, he was in my corner. He called the fight after 6 minutes. I got back into the fight. I fought like a proud Australian, we're true Anzacs out here, and
that's right.
Never say die. And I got caught on the 10-second warning bell, and I had Billy Hussain, who's a local trainer here in Australia that's very famous and a very good trainer. He's got some really good boys now to hand him, and his brothers, Skinny and Hussey. Zach Haywood's been with him, and those guys helped me out, but I got caught on the 10-second one. I heard this. And then I thought it's a 10-second warning bell, so the referee knows there's 10 seconds in the round, just in case there is a knockdown. Yeah. I went to turn, and Shane's that fast. Shane Mosley jumped on me.
Square on the jaw.
But I got back up, and I remember going back to the corner, and Johnny Dawes saying, "Shannan, you all right?" And I said, What's wrong with Johnny? He goes, just knocked you down. I said, what? What did I do? Knock him down? And he goes, no, he knocked you down. And he goes, Shannon, put water. And Jeff Rennick's rubbing my back. Billy Hussein's there. They're putting water all over me, saying, where are you, Shannon? And I looked at Johnny and said, Caesar's Palace, Johnny. And he goes, well, I'll give you one more round. I got back into the fight. I got back into it.
Wow.
I hurt Shane. He told me I hurt him in the third round with a little short right hand. He just clinched me for a second. He's a great champion, though. Jeff Rennick warned me before we went over there. He tried to get me to fight the WBO champion. But, my heart, I was number one in the world. I worked, knocked 6 world champions out before.
Wow.
I got to Sugar Shane Mosley. And listen, you can't call yourself the best if you don't take on the best.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
You know what? I've got my WBF World titles through them. Maybe not great. Didn't take it off guys like Sugar Shane Mosley and that, but I burned him with those guys. I fought Arthur Abraham. Arthur Abraham put Jamel and Taylor last year in a coma.
Wow.
And I'm one of only a couple of guys to go the distance with him on a 5-week notice in 2006.
Wow.
To be the best, you've got to take out the best.
Yeah, that's right. You got to. I've knocked 6 world champions. I'm very proud to say I'm a WBF world champion 3 times, and I'm not finished yet. I'm 39 and
still going.
I'm loving it. Zach Abel,
awesome.
Zach Abel is a great guy. He's a good fighter, and he's a great person. And
awesome.
and his team. I'm working with Michael Ackaway and them and the guys, and just beautiful people, and just the sparring I'm getting is just unbelievable, and just I feel like I'm 22. See,
awesome.
No more 31 on the show.
That's right.
Shannan Taylor's 22.
He's back in his prime again. All right, awesome.
I'm going to bring you back to your fight last month, the great win. Did it feel sweeter because of your past? Like you actually you went through so much in your life with that tough past. Did you feel like you earned that win and it felt a lot sweeter?
Yeah.
Whereas just winning a fight and being spoon-fed all your life, like you were very disciplined, you did a lot of rough patches, but you came through with the win.
But that's what I'm saying, the ups and downs. And like I said, Shannan Taylor, something happens in life, you just got to jump over. There are hurdles. Life's full of hurdles. It was just easy walking outside the hurdles all the way through life. It's beautiful. And not too many people can do that. 99% of the people in the world have got hurdles, and that's what you got to do. Is just look at them and treat them as a hurdle and go over it. And if you trip on it, go back over, pick it back up, and get back over and walk out, jump over it again. It's just the way it is in life. And you know what? A lot of people give up too easy this day and age.
That's true.
And my father, which is my grandfather. He was a bushman. Bigger than this studio. He chopped down trees.
Wow.
With him and his brothers in Wollongong. They were horsemen. He never had a TV.
Wow.
He had horse and cart. And my dad's only 59 now. My dad only had a car out of school. My pop lost the use of his legs at the age of 29, 30. And what happened with him? He was too proud as a bushman, and nobody could beat him in arm wrestle. Nobody, because he became strong because he walked on his knees until he died at 86 years of age.
Wow.
Back 10 or 15 years ago. He walked on his knees, just very proud, was too proud to get in the wheelchair, but we finally got him into a wheelchair and got him to ringside a couple of my fights before he died the last couple of years.
Awesome. And
then Pop's sitting there at 80-something years of age going, I should have had this years ago. I'm trying to tell you, Pop, I'm very proud of Taylor and my boys. I've got a little boy called Chase and Rush, and Natalia is my
awesome.
daughter. They're all under 8 years of age. I tell them, don't disappoint the Taylor name. They're good kids, but they're a little bit cheeky sometimes. But it's just kids.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try and tell them to respect the name, because I respected the name, because my grandfather walked on his knees for like 50-something years.
Wow.
50 years. Like he died at 86 and he lost 29 or 30 years of age,
Tough man.
So, and he just had a stick and he walked and he sat on a hill in Bulli, looking over the Bulli, on a hill, his house, looked out the window, and that's all he did. And we take him shooting out the bush, and he'd sit lay there in the sun, he's dark as an ace of spades, you know what I mean? But I'm very proud of the Taylor name. That's why I keep getting up and just,
The Yfactor.
Wow. What nationality? So he was a complete Australian? Or?
Well, yeah. I asked my dad, because my dad's very dark, but he doesn't look Maori. And apparently, I asked just before I went to fight Shane Moses. I think I might have even asked him when we were in Vegas, just sitting around. So, where's the history? I'm going to fight one of the greatest fighters in all time.
Give me a bit of family.
Around in Vegas, I'm pretty sure it was around that time. So where are we from? Are we from England, from here? Are we convicts? As they call Australians. But he said, because I only seen my nan a few times. She died when I was about 15, and she lived in a nursing home the last few years. She was very smart. She ducks at university.
Wow.
She's on the board, but she was very smart. But then later in life, she sort of lost. Then she went into a home. I only seen her now and then, but didn't you realise that she was dark? I said, yeah, she was dark, but she was Maori. Like she was half Maori.
Wow.
My great grandmother's full Maori.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that means like your grandfather, who was a bushman, must have had some tough Maori blood in him as well.
Yeah.
So.
Have the Kiwis tried to claim you as their own, or you true blood Australian?
I'm Aussie born, Aussie bred.
And you've done a great service to the to Australia with 30 years under your belt with boxing.
Yeah. Well, we had lunch today with Zach after sparring. We worked hard. People would think that we like each other. We work really good together, and I'm really enjoying the friendship that I'm creating with Zach and the guys. I've known Michael, his trainer, since I was a kid. When I was 15, he was 18 in New South Wales team. But I even had today at lunch, I couldn't believe how good we sparred last week, out of the blue. And then the friendship, sort of, when you just know it, you can feel the friendship there. And I'm thinking, this couldn't be true. This couldn't be real true. Yeah. And then we had lunch on Saturday after I sparred at Dave Birchall's local gym here around this area. And then Zach came and met me and Bill for lunch, and I thought, this is beautiful. And then we sparred today. I'm thinking, it was a real hard spar. So like a fight, but no, I want to hurt you. Just hard work, hard honest work. Then we just had lunch, and I said to the guys, I said, you know what, I love this. This is what I like about boxing. It's a hard sport.
Yeah. The Yfactor.
But you know what? Why I got off track with no excuse, but I got off track in 2001 after the Mosley fight. That was my first loss against a true champion. Yeah. I didn't know how to deal with a loss. Yeah. And everyone loved me. When I got off the plane back in Sydney, they were like, Shannan, you've done so proud. You got up and you got clipped on. Everyone knows I got a hit on the warning bell, thinking it was Belal. Shane Mosley even said it. So Shane Mosley said, Shannan was so focused, and then he relaxed, and I jumped on him because of the bell, because I thought the bell would ring. So he was honest about it, and I got off track. But you know what? I couldn't handle a loss. I couldn't. I just didn't know how to deal with a loss. And, you know what? Because I thought boxing was just about being undefeated. But you know what the word champion means? It doesn't mean undefeated. It means when you're down, you get back up. Ali, Muhammad Ali, all the greatest of the greatest have been beaten. You don't know you're a champion until you've been beaten.
Have to bounce back up. And then
you come back. You get back up. And that's what I did. And I got off track and for about 9 months in 2001. And all of a sudden I said, felt something from up above, and I just went, this is not right. Let's get back on track. And here I am, 30-something fights later, 3-time world champion and WBF world champion. Wow. Won 7 IBF belts. You know, life isn't just about winning. It's about the friendship. It's like the friendship we've got now. About the people I've met. I've met presidents. Wow. Kings. Wow. In King's Cup in Thailand, I met the king of Thailand. Wow. I've met powerful men, and then also boxing's got it all. It's gone from politicians to rich, the poor, the very poor. Everyone loves boxing. Yeah. You know, it's got gangsters in it. It's got criminals. It's got politicians. It's got everything. Boxing has everything, walk of life in it. Yeah.
It's one of those ancient sports, I guess.
You know, it is. And you know what the fact is, I thought it was all about winning and being just undefeated. You know what? Yeah. It's about meeting people on the way. You know what it is. When I started going to church, it's a journey. Yeah. It's just a part of my journey. And you know what? I'm still writing it 30 years later, and the last few chapters are getting good. Awesome. I'm really enjoying it.
Well, hopefully it keeps getting better.
Yeah.
But I guess, as you said, it's sort of like all throughout life we all get these tests, and it just serves to make us stronger. Because if you take it in the right way, that is, you know, not give up.
Now, my birth of my 3 children, I could win 100 world titles, and both of my 3 children. Mate, world titles, nothing I've done in my life rates to them, because I delivered my first child, Natalia. Wow. The doctor got her right, lined her up, and I was like, and I've been shooting, I've been hunting, I lived off the land in Northern Territory when I was for about 6 weeks. We living off
Wow.
Kangaroo.
Awesome.
And fish, whatever we've caught.
That's so cool.
So I'm used to touching slimy things like gutting rabbits and things like that.
Yeah.
And then they got this little head, and I pulled her out, and she came into my arms. And my daughter, I swear on my life, took she coughed in my arms, her first breaths.
Wow.
That is the most exciting. I say it to my boys, but because I didn't deliver them, because nurse did, but I love all my kids the same. But that one moment, if anyone said, what is the greatest moment in your life? That is the greatest moment. My daughter had her first breath in my arms. Wow. When she was born, I was just
wow,
that's amazing. It just touched me. And then I wouldn't let the doctors. I wouldn't let them wash her.
You can't do that.
I washed her. They were trying to clean her. I said, "Yeah, it's mine." I had her in the gym at the age of 3 weeks old. I had her in the gym. My Serbian friends are going, "Send her home, Shannan. She'll get sick." I said, "No." Immunity, she's got to get down,
the immune system build up.
She'll build up. If you keep her away, she wasn't built up. She hardly ever gets sick,
Awesome.
And look, we commend you on. You do a lot of community work in Illawarra region with children with disabilities and a lot of kids in youth centres. What advice, what final piece of advice would you give to the listeners out there in regards to, I guess, making it to the top? And like you said, the importance of meeting people and family in the community along the way,
becoming a champion. I guess.
Well, I think. We all go through hard times. We all go through hard times when we think there's no one there for you. There's always someone. Someone's got a girlfriend, a wife, a boyfriend, a friend, a mate. Could be the local priest. Could be the local pastor. Could be the local policeman. There's someone there who can help you and will help you. He's willing to help you. And just don't ever give up. Just don't. When you think you're up against the wall, there's a ladder next to you. You can go over that wall. You can do it. It's just never give up. That's what I say. Just go forward. There's always another day.
That's right. Always look on the positive side of things as well, I guess.
Yes.
The Yfactor.
When we last interviewed Zach Awad on the show for our listeners, we remembered we gave a call out to Garth Woods. Now, you've actually answered the call, and I believe you have an upcoming fight with Garth Woods. Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know if Garth want to fight Zach after I'm finished it with Garth, because the way me and Garth were booked to fight in the 18th of December in Melbourne, Barry Michaels' show and Brian Ventura show in Melbourne. Zach's my main sparring partner.
Yeah.
My time, he won't want nothing. He won't want to fight me after, and he won't want to fight Zach because Zach's just getting better and better each spar.
Wow.
And I reckon. Sparring someone with 30 years experience, and he's been saying it, he's really enjoying it. I've watched him grow from last week's spar to this week's spar.
Wow.
And so he's improving each spar. So
awesome.
Garth Woods can't handle me, trust me. He'll be finished after the 18th of December. But if he wants to take on Zach after this, no, I don't think so.
Bit of trash talk on the Yfactor.
All right, awesome. Well, Shannan, it's been awesome having you.
And if people want to check out his Facebook page,
you can just Facebook Shannan Taylor the boxer, and you'll be able to find him there. And
we're honoured to have you on the show. Thank you once again.
It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Shannan.
Cheers.
We'll be back right after the break to wrap up the program. You're listening to the Yfactor on 87.6 FM.
And I feel best when my soul is free. This is who I am. This is me. Nothing, everything, can't you see who I am? Just let me be, 'cause like it or not, this God loves me. Who I am, this is me. Nothing, everything, can't you see who I am? Just let me be, 'cause like it or not, this God loves me. Who I am, who I am, who I am.
Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed that very honest discussion with Shannan Taylor, the WBF World Middleweight Champion, and Belal Taha from MyLegacy Publications. Now on to our two events for the week. Now obviously it's Eid, so you have to expect an Eid festival, and from this weekend, so from Friday to Sunday, the annual Islamic Eid show will be running from Friday at 4 p.m. till Sunday at 10 p.m. It's actually at the Bankstown Showground, which is close right near where, the Bankstown markets are held. It's on the corner of Eldridge Road and Edgar Street, obviously in celebration of Eid al-Adha. It'll be running from Friday right through till Sunday. For the exact times, go to their Facebook page, the annual Islamic Eid show. There will be food, Zaki will be there, festivities, rides, stores, Islamic merchandise, DVDs, literature, you name it. For more information, go to www.aidshow.com. There's also another lecture this week. It's called Proving the Existence of God, held by Sheikh Wissam Chikawi, which is all about how to, gain more confidence as a Muslim in the existence of God and counter the arguments of Orientalists and atheists. It'll be held this Saturday night at Al Bayan Quran Institute, which is located at 40 Ferndale Street, South Granville. It'll run from 5:45 till Maghrib for males and females. This Saturday, will actually be the third week of a 10-week course, so there's still plenty of time to register. Just head down there this week for a very exciting lecture, inshallah. And just a final reminder to check out ABC One this Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Nazim Hussain and Amir Rahman from Fear of a Barren Planet will be on the Australian Story, which seems very intriguing, inshallah. So be sure to check that out. We hope you enjoyed the episode this week. We had some very interesting news items both here and abroad. For some fantastic interviewees. As we said, go to mylegacypublications.com.au and send in your content, your creative stories, any fantastic ideas you've had. Put them down on paper and send it in, inshallah. The team there will hopefully take care of it. And if you want to learn more about Shannan Taylor's very interesting life, his past, his present, and where he wants to head in the future, go to Shannan Taylor's Facebook page, his fan page, and like that for more information. Once again, we appreciate all your comments on our Facebook page, the group page, which currently has 500 plus members, which is growing daily. I feel so invincible. We can raise an army by the end of the year, which we're not going to. So Asia, if you're listening, I apologize. It was a clear, innocuous, jovial joke. It's part of my nature, so forgive me. Nonetheless, continue adding your friends onto the Facebook page and continue those news items. Any funny, videos on YouTube, any, really interesting news items or articles you come across online, or anything you hear about, let us know on the Facebook page. We love the way it's going. Alhamdulillah, it's very interactive. Once again, from here at the Yfactor, we thank you very much for your time. I'm Mohamed on the mic. Jamel just left. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We'll hear from you same time, same place next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
This is who I am, this is me. Nothing, everything, can't you see? Who I am, just let me be. 'Cause like it or not, but God loves me.